Hello, and welcome to Changed Lives. This is such an exciting show today. I am so proud to announce my guests featuring Miss Shirley Marie Johnson.
Hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, Miss Shirley Marie Johnson, you're looking mighty pretty there today.
Oh, thank you. The purple is significant because it's the national color for abuse against women and girls around the globe. And domestic violence is just so important because we work with victims of abuse in our organization.
Yes, bringing to you Change Lives today, and we are going to be talking about domestic violence and you. And Shirley, you're going to tell us about the experiences you've had with domestic violence being in your organization.
Yes.
This is what you do. What is your purpose?
Yes.
And how did you get started with domestic violence?
Yes, our organization's mission statement is to work with victims or persons that have been broken and shattered by domestic violence and human trafficking, child abuse, rape, incest within our communities and other parts of the world. And I started Exodus Inc., which in Greek means a way out.
All right.
For victims is what we had in mind. And
how appropriate.
Yes, yes. And I personally experienced abuse myself in my own life during my childhood years, learning later on that I am third generation of domestic violence. And something told me that there is a way out, and not just for myself, but for so many others around the world. It's a pandemic. It's really a situation that's happening to people all over the world, in every nation and every tongue, color, creed, religious origin. It's just happening everywhere, and we have to begin to talk about it and dialogue and see how we can make change.
Make a difference.
Yes.
Because there are women out there that are being abused and don't know what to do, don't know how to handle it, don't know where to go for help.
Yes.
But you're going to tell us some of the signs and symptoms and how to recognize this domestic violence.
Yes, yes.
And would you maybe give us a few pointers?
Sure. I came up with a pamphlet that I made, handmade myself through our organization for other people that may want to know signs of abuse. It's a bookmark. And some of the items listed are isolation.
Isolation, yes.
When he doesn't, or she even, doesn't want you to be around people. They have you almost locked up in a prison, if you will.
So let me interrupt here for a second, Shirley Marie. So an abuser could be a male or female.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But our organization directly works with victims of women and children. And we have had a few men that have volunteered with our program. It can happen to anyone. So we want to let people know that the percentile is very low of men that are abused, but it does happen.
It does happen to men.
Yes. And some other signs are extreme control and jealousy. Threatens to kill you, the kids, or pets. Calls you hurtful, ugly names.
Yes, so stopping you once
yes.
again, Shirley Marie, it's not just battering you with physical abuse,
yes.
but then it's also the verbal abuse
yes.
as well. That is very damaging.
Yes, and you know, sometimes I've heard this so much from survivors that, you know, he punches me and he kicks me and the bruises heal, But sometimes those words, you know, there was a saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words would never harm me. Oh, yes, they do. Sometimes people never get over some of the things
And
they
I
were
know a
called.
lady that is still, as you just said, still having some issues with what she went through in domestic violence with the verbal abuse.
Yes.
The perpetrator did not physically harm her, but the verbal abuse was so tremendous that the flashbacks are still pertinent in her life. And that's sad.
It is. And so that could be just as harmful as being physically abused, or even more.
Even more so?
Because sometimes, I mean, people heal, the bruises go away, but the words in your mind and just the put downs and the name calling, some people,
The flashbacks.
that can destroy you.
The flashbacks then.
Yes.
So are they needing women that are being abused, either physically or verbally? Where is there some help that they can get?
Well, there are several different types of abuse. You do have the verbal, you have physical, you have the psychological, you have sexual, you have financial.
Okay, so that's even more and more.
Yes.
Go on and on then.
It's abandonment, neglect.
Abandonment and neglect.
Yes.
Would you repeat those? Because maybe a lot of our viewing audience out there have never heard that these are signs of abuse.
Yes, financial, for instance, might be different for people. When I was in my relationship, in my marriage, I would work like a dog, 40 hours a week. My husband would take my check every single payday. That's financial abuse.
Okay.
Another thing is sexual abuse, when, you know, you do not want to be intimate and they basically rape you.
Yes, okay. Go on, Shirley.
Another item is neglect or abandonment. If he just disappears for weeks at a time, that's
or
abuse.
disappears, period.
Yes, that's abandonment, and neglect, that's abuse. So there's a lot of different
So it's
angles.
that rejection and that resentment along with whatever abuse that you're being afflicted with.
Okay.
The resentment, as you were saying, the abandonment.
Right. The other areas, again, was physical and verbal, and the psychological. And you asked about where they could go for help.
Yes. Let's tell our viewing audience,
Ye
where there is help available.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. Our agency can be reached. We have two numbers, 866-861-4325. And our other number is 615-710-0536. And did you want me to share some more signs?
And this is Exodus Inc.
Exodus Inc.
And once again, this is Shirley Marie Johnson.
Yes, yes. Some other items that some people might not feel is abuse is opening your mail and reading it. This went on repeatedly where I didn't even have the key to my own mailbox for 6 years.
And knowing you, Shirley Marie Johnson, that's hard to believe because you are so on top of everything.
Some other things is he gets angry or she gets angry when you're late, or they can't track you down. There are some women, they are called every single minute of the day. Where are you at? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Who's talking to you?
What exit are you on the interstate? So they can tell approximately how far away you are. Okay. I had an experience like that.
Okay. Goes through your personal belongings, like taking your I had a client where this gentleman took her cell phone for 7 days and called every single number on it to see who was calling her and who she was calling.
Okay. So your personal notebook and planners,
Yes.
hey, they do go through that. Okay, and that's
Going
really
through your emails,
emails
going
as
through
well.
your voicemails, going through
So you have no privacy at all.
no privacy, your own personhood, you know.
So those are just some of the signs of
Yes,
this abuse.
yes.
But there's so much you can share with us today. So let's move on to
Great.
something like, what is some of the statistics out there?
Yes, we have put together a fan.
Okay.
And we have come up with 14 global statistics on abuse. And they were all compiled by myself as a researcher. And some of these are going to surprise you, and some you may have heard of. Some of the biggest ones are that every 15 seconds somewhere in America, a woman is battered. And this is from the UN study on the status of women, year 2000. Another one is intimate partner violence against women exceeds $58 billion a year. And this is coming from the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, 2003. A lot of us have heard this one. 1 in 3 women or girls is beaten or sexually abused in her lifetime. And this is coming from the UN Commission on the Status of Women, 2000. And so we have 14 different stats on here that are very, very important and vital to know, because these are some of the latest stats on violence against women.
So
and
there is
children.
story after story of women that are being abused, and
Just all over the world.
Some of them don't even come forth.
Yes.
They stay in this abuse, and
You know, a lot of women.
I would like to see women get help and not stay in abuse.
Yes.
Because there's no reason for a woman to want to be abused or to stay in abuse, whatever kind she's going through.
Well, statistically, a woman will try to flee or leave a domestic violence relationship 17 times. A lot of women, and some of the reasons why they stay, they may have children with this person, or he may have threatened to kill her and the children, her whole family, if she leaves. That's why it's very, very difficult for many women to get out of this, because of the danger that is that it entails. It's very dangerous to try to leave a violent relationship. And many women do not want to be in a domestic violence relationship. They love this person. They want them to change. Many women, they don't want to be beat. They didn't marry or get involved with this person for that. They really genuinely want a good relationship and hope that he would change, so they stay. But a lot of the women, 95%, have no choice but to stay because he has threatened to take her life. And that could be a very dangerous situation.
That is also a very sad situation, that women feel that they need to take abuse of any kind.
Okay.
We are precious in the eyes of God and do not need to be abused. Now, let's talk about then, I think you were telling me earlier, Shirley Marie, that Nashville alone,
Tennessee.
was, what was the rate?
Yes, just last month, September 2012, and moving forward, our state of Tennessee was ranked from the Violence Policy Center from Washington, D.C., we're ranked number 3 in the nation for men beating on and murdering their women and children.
Their women and the children.
Yes, we are number 3 in the country. That has been talked about so much on the news these last few weeks. It's just...
That's unreal.
It's unreal. It is. It is very scary, too, when you think about it. The rank that got number 1, the state that got number 1 was Nevada.
Okay.
The state that got number 2 was South Carolina. Number 4, Louisiana. Number
Okay.
5, Virginia. Number 6, Texas. Number 7, New Mexico. Number 8, Hawaii. Number 9, Arizona, and number 10, Georgia.
Okay.
Almost all of those are in the South, states that are in the South. Just maybe a couple that are not. So my take on why there is so much violence, specifically Tennessee, is that 3 months ago, Tennessee passed a law where second offender, you can basically almost kill your partner. Second attempt, second offense, they go to jail 30 days.
For attempted murder,
Yes, almost basically. So to women, this is almost a slap in the face. The laws are very, very weak in Tennessee. They're not strong. And I think that that is primarily one of the reasons why there is so much abuse going on. I mean, men are literally, Habiba, getting away with murder.
Exactly, exactly. So, Shirley Marie, can domestic violence be prevented?
I think it can be with a lot of training and education. Our organization just received a grant that is supposed to be coming into fruition between late part of this week and next week, where we are going to go into high schools, junior high schools, and colleges and talk about the issue of abuse. It's so much of it going on.
So it's even going on in the areas of...
It affects people primarily that are between
Yes,
8 years old and about 28 years old.
Okay.
And most of those are college age or high school or elementary high. So it is really affecting our young people. 95% of men abuse their significant other because that's what they saw growing up at the home. That's all they know.
So
they don't know how to treat a woman like a woman. They have not been taught. If Tom sees...
That's a very good point.
Yes, if Tom sees dad slapping mom around, he feels like, well, I'm going to do my girlfriend like that. She better not get out of line. They don't know any better. So teaching the children and the young adults right ways to treat the person you're dating, or specifically someone that you have intentions of marrying or someone you're married to, there are ways that you can help them see that, okay, this is not the right way that I should be treating another human being. Some just don't know that they're even being abusive. I know when I was...
So it could be turned around as well. A woman that is actually taking this abuse, she's seeing it evidently and thinks it's normal to be beat up on.
Right.
Because she saw her father beat her mother and thinks maybe she did something to deserve it, so it's normal. It's not normal. I want you to know, ladies, it's not normal.
Yes, right.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
really
tell me
good.
now, Shirley, how should a domestic violence victim be treated medically? What kind of help do they need? I know that there are support groups out there.
Mm-hmm.
They can seek out some help to get some healing. The churches are out there.
Well, one of the things that I know that we have a problem with, and this is nationwide, the police have been doing a better job in terms of training and knowing how to serve victims. But because if they have been called to the home 20 times in 1 year for a domestic violence situation, after a while they are going to begin to say, okay, this is just a joke. I'm wasting my time. But understanding the process behind it and just the details behind, well, why does she stay and why does she not leave? I think that's helping a lot. They're not blaming her. I mean, they know the dynamics. Why does she stay? We brought that up early, why she stays.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are taking this a little bit more seriously. The victim should not have to call the police and be re-victimized again. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that legally, going before a court of law or calling a police, where the women have felt like, well, I can't reach out to anyone, that all they're going to do is victimize me again. That's a lot of reason why so many victims don't get help or don't come forward. But we are beginning to do better about it. And that's great. That's wonderful. There are a lot of different ways that victims can be reached out to and helped. One of the things.
Do you feel like the church is really doing their part in helping women?
Well, one of the things is believing them. Sometimes a woman can be married to a high-profile person, and nobody is going to believe that she's married to him. I mean,
okay, repeat that, because that goes as far as family members as well.
Yes.
Will protect.
Yes. We
call themselves protecting the abuser.
Mm-hmm. That believing in the victim is really key, because a lot of times if they feel like they don't have a support system, like their mom believing in what's going on, or their sisters or the in-laws or the church members, some of the women, they are not going to even try to get out. They just feel like they are on a dead-end street.
So in actuality then, they feel stuck,
trapped
mm-hmm. in this domestic violence relationship.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard so many women married.
Would you say to a woman out there that's in an abusive relationship right now to get out, get help? What would you say to that woman out there that is being in this domestic violence relationship?
Mm-hmm. I would say that you really do deserve better.
Mm-hmm.
You are, highly favored of God. You're made in the beautiful image of God. God has so much for your life. Mm-hmm. And I know it is really hard to get out. It is tough to get out. It's dangerous. But I believe there is a way out. In my situation, I had no clue on how I was going to get out of it. I prayed and I just asked God to just perform a miracle. And He did.
Amen.
One day, my abuser woke up and he just wanted to leave.
Praise the Lord.
And God worked it all out. Because
now I hear that the statistics are that before a woman will get out of a marriage abusive relationship, it's like 7 or 8 times they leave, go back, leave, go back, before they finally have enough courage and strength to seek
as I said earlier,
assistance in getting out.
Right. As I said earlier in the show here, a woman will leave about 17 times and go back.
So it's 17. Okay.
Before she actually says enough is enough.
17, that's a high rate.
That's statistically, yes.
Okay.
But, sometimes women, after one time, they say, I'm not dealing with this, and they're gone. But statistically, 17 times it takes about that long. Because you, like I said earlier, you want the marriage to work out.
Exactly.
You didn't get into it to just give up on it. And that's just being human.
Well, my problem with the abuse is, and going back to the Word of God, 1 Corinthians 13:13. Faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Then if you love somebody, how can you, you know, put them through the kind of abuse we've been talking about?
Yes, yes.
It's just totally unreal to me.
Yes.
If you love a person, you shouldn't want to hurt them.
Yes, that's true.
You should not want to hurt them.
Yes.
Shirley, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to make? Because our time is just about up here, but you will have to come back and do show number 2 on this domestic violence.
Yes.
I think it's so important that we get some people freed up out there.
Yes.
Because many people don't understand the abuse. And it could be detrimental to the very point of losing their lives.
Yes.
So, what are your closing remarks?
I just want to give our viewers that are in a relationship right now, you could be married to, you thought, Prince Charming, and just you live in a castle or a glass house or mansion, or
I love it.
and you have all of this money, and then behind the scenes, or he could be a pastor, but behind the scenes,
very good
he
point.
is beating your brains out every day, and people don't even know you're going through all of this. I just want to let you know that there is hope, and there is help, and there is healing through God. God rescued me, and what I'm doing now to help other people, I could have never dreamed my life would be different like this. But God will help you. There is hope out there. There's help. And our number again is 866-861-4325. And we want to reach out, and we want to help you right where you are. And we hope that you will just make that first step to tell someone.
Help.
Yes,
get some help for yourself.
Break that silence. Break that silence, because people care. People care about you. You're not in this alone.
Well, that's our show. I'm Habiba Chevalier. Change Lives. 615-474-6516.